Chullin Daf Kofei, after a person eats cheese and then he wants to eat meat, according to everybody, Bishami Bisil, he must rinse his mouth with water and then eat something hard like bread. Rav Zera said that the type of bread he could eat is only wheat bread that is cold and that is soft so that it doesn't stick to his mouth and that it doesn't fall apart. La halacha though, you could eat anything besides flour, dates, and vegetables because that will clean your mouth. Between cheese and meat, you don't have to wait at all, but you have to look at your hands during the day to make sure that there's no cheese left in them. At night, you have to rinse them with water, and then you rinse your mouth with water and eat something like bread, as we discussed before. Between meat and cheese, you have to wait, according to Rashi, is because of the oils from the meat that stay in the mouth. According to the Rambam, it's because of pieces that are stuck between the teeth. Meat that's stuck between your teeth is considered meat, and therefore, if one finds meat hours later, he still has to wait that amount of time. It's still considered meat. The Gemara brings Chala bar Chamra, 3 stories of Chala bar Chamra, meaning I am like vinegar, the son of wine. So the Gemara says, and this is where we take the whole concept that we have that we wait 6 hours between meat and dairy, is because of this one line. The Gemara says, Rav Vukva said, my father used to wait 24 hours between meat and dairy, and I wait until the next meal. What's the next meal? So the Gemara says the lashon of another meal. So there's a machlokes Rishonim what that means. Some Rishonim say it means in those days they used to eat only 2 meals, and there was a 6-hour difference between the meals. That's where we got 6 hours. Other Rishonim say, well, in the winter it's only 3 hours between the meals. That's why the Germans, the Yekkis, they wait only 3 hours, and some people only wait 1 hour because it just means after this meal. Shmuel says, I'm also like vinegar, the son of wine, because my father used to check out his properties twice a day, and I only check out my property once a day, and when I check out my property, I gain 1 istur. It's like a sela. The Chofetz Chaim, looking at the Chofetz Chaim in the Shem Olam, Perek Yud Aleph, he says it's not referring to real estate, it's referring to a person doing cheshbon and nefesh, etc. So Abaya used this, and he says that because he checked his fields, he caught a guy stealing from him, and he said, look, my Rabbanon, they warned me about you. They said, come check your fields, and this way I'll catch you. Ravasi said, where's the money that Shmuel spoke about? I go to visit my field, I never find any money, until one day he went to his field, and he found that there's a big flood, and he was able to stop the flood, and he was able to save a lot of money. Says the Gemara, Netilas Yadayim, which is called Mayim Rishonim when we wash our hands before we eat bread, is a mitzvah because it's mitzvah l'shmoya direi chachamim. The middle ones in between 2 foods that are the same, like meat to meat, cheese to cheese, is rishus if you want to. But between cheese and another type of food is a chiyuv. Mayim achroinim is a chayva. You must. Why? Because of melech's daimus. Because of the salt of his daim. Tosfos points out that nowadays we don't have his daim, melech, so therefore it's not a chayva. The Vilna Gaon says you are mechayiv because once chachamim misakin, there's other reasons. Some people, Yashayim, that you have to do it mayim achroinim only into a vessel. Some say that you should not do it onto the ground. The difference is, can you do it into sawdust or something like that? Hot water that's yatsi levis, that your hand coils back when you touch it, mayim achroinim it's also to use for, and mayim rishayim is a machlokes. Now the Gemara says until the end of today's daf, and it's a pretty long sugya. Abaya says there are 8 things that he thought they are done because of one way, until his Rebbe, who was Rabbah, told him that he was wrong, and it's because of another thing. And the Gemara starts off with one thing that has to do with our sugya, and veers off topic, and tells us a lot of nice stories and different halachas throughout these 8 things. The first one is that mayim achroinim, he thought that the reason why you don't put it on the ground is because zuama, it's dirty, and his Rebbe said no, it's because of ruach ra, bad spirit. And the second thing he learned is he thought that the reason why you don't take something off a table while your friend is sitting there drinking, because he might get mad at you and he'll choke on his drink. And his Rebbe said the reason is because there's something called a ruach tzreida, some sort of headache, half headache. And the Gemara says that's only if you don't put the thing back on the table, and if you take it 4 hours away from the table, and it's something that you need for the meal. Some were makbid also not to take even something like a mortar pestle thing that for spices. Also, they were makbid not to take because of this ruach tzreida. The third thing he learned is that he thought that the reason why you sweep the crumbs off the floor is because of cleanliness, and he learned that it's because to prevent poverty. Says the Gemara, a great story where the malach that was in charge of poverty try to get a certain individual who was extremely careful about not leaving crumbs on the ground. And one time he saw the guy, he couldn't get him, he couldn't make him poor. Until one day he saw him having a picnic on the grass, and the Malach said, "Oh, now I'm going to get him because the crumbs are going to go into the grass. He won't be able to deal with it, and people will step on it, and I'll get him." And sure enough, when the person was done with his meal, the person took out a shovel, uprooted all the grass, and threw it into the river. And he overheard the Malach saying, "Oi, now I have nowhere to go. I'm thrown out of my house." The fourth thing that Abai thought was that the foam on top of a drink, he thought that you don't drink it because it's disgusting, and he learned from Rabbah that it's because of something called karsam, which is secretions that come out of the nose. It says the Gemara that if a person drinks it, he'll get karsam. If a person blows the foam to the side, it'll cause him migraines, headaches, and if he pushes it off with his hand, then it causes poverty. So what do? You just let it sink to the bottom on its own. If you have this disease because you drink foam from wine, what do? You drink beer. If you have the disease because you drink foam from beer, then you drink water. But if you drink foam from water, there is no way out of it, and that's what people say. The poor get poorer because he had nothing to drink, he drank water, and therefore he has no remedy. The fifth thing that Abai thought was that the reason why you don't take out a vegetable from a bundle of vegetables is because people think that you're a fresser, you can't wait to eat, and the reason is because then other people will have the ability to harm you with kishuv. So the Gemara says a story that Rav Chizda and Rabba Bar Rav Huna went on a boat, and this noble woman wanted to join them on the boat, and they didn't want her on the boat. So she said some sort of spell, and she was able to stop the boat. They said something back, and the boat kept on going. And then she said, the reason why my spells are not working is because they are makbid not to take vegetables out of a bundle. And also, after the bathroom, they don't use shards of earthenware, and they don't kill lice on their clothing. The sixth thing Abai said is that when you have a vegetable that falls off a table, you don't eat it, and he thought it's because it's disgusting, and really it's because it causes bad breath. The seventh thing that he thought was that you don't sit under a gutter, under a drain pipe, is because of the wastewater, and in fact the reason is because of mazikim and shadim. It says the Gemara story that once two people put down a barrel underneath a gutter, and a shed came and broke their barrel. So they took him to Bezin, they took him to Mar Bar Avashi. Mar Bar Avashi blew the shofars, he put him in Mecherim, and the shed was forced to come and sit down. They said, "Why did you do it?" And he said, "What do you mean, why did I do it? They put a barrel while I was sleeping into my ear. Of course I had to do it." So he said, "Well, you had no business sleeping there. What do you sleep somewhere else? You have to pay the money." So he said, "Okay, I'll pay, but I don't have any money on me. Could I buy some time?" He said, "Yeah." They set a date. Sure enough, the date came, and the shed didn't come to pay up. When he did come to pay, he said, "Why didn't you pay on time?" He said, "Because the shed is not allowed to take from something that's closed, sealed, and measured, and is numbered. And therefore I had to wait for something hefker to come up, and that took some time." The eighth and final thing that Abai said is that when you have water in a vessel, you pour out the top, and he thought it's because of the floating debris that's on top, and the reason is because there's something called mayim roim, bad waters. So the Gemara, a very interesting story. Rav Papa had a shed, a mazik, that used to work for him. He enslaved him, and he told him, "Go get water," and it took him a long time. So why did it take you so long? He said, because there was bad water on the top, and I had to get rid of it. And Rashi says the bad water is that other shadim drink from it. Taisa says he couldn't pour it off the top because the other shadim would kill him. They would be very upset. And why are you giving away our secrets that we put something bad into the water? And when the shed saw that everybody in Rav Papa's house was careful to pour off a little bit from the top, he said, "Oh, if I would have known, I would have been on time. It wouldn't have taken me that long. Have a wonderful day."